Hi, this is Kalyan Pal. Welcome to Basic Electrical Engineering.
The topic is average and effective value of alternating voltage and current. Now, before we discuss about the average and effective values, we know that in a DC system, the voltage and current are constant. Therefore, it can be easily find out their magnitude, because we know that if we apply a voltage across a resistor, let's say 5 ohms, the voltage source is of 10 volt, then we can easily find the current, and it will be 10 upon 5, and that will be 2 ampere. Now in this case, if we draw the voltage or current characteristics with respect to time, then we will find the value as a constant with respect to the time. It may be either voltage. If I consider the voltage, then it will be always 10 volt. If we consider the current, then it will be always 2 ampere current. That means their magnitude will not change with respect to the time. But in case of AC system, as we know that for a sinusoidal alternating voltage or current, where the value is continuously changing with respect to the time, it may be either V or I. So the V can be written as V max sine omega t, and if we consider current, then it will be I max sine omega t. As we can see that the value of the voltage or current is continuously changing with respect to time. That means at any instant their value will be changed just after the instant. So in this case, it is very difficult to find the magnitude for an alternating voltage or current, because if we consider the instantaneous values, that means voltage or current, and if we connect the source across a load, then it will be difficult to identify what will be the voltage or current that is applied in the circuit. If we consider the circuit where V is the instantaneous voltage applied, I is the current flowing to the load resistance. So in this case, we cannot identify the magnitude of the voltage or current. Therefore, there are different type of options. Let's say if we consider the maximum voltage or maximum current, but from the waveform we can see that the maximum value occurs only twice for a complete cycle. That means for a complete cycle we will get the maximum value only 2 times. One is in the positive side, another is in the negative side. So it is not a continuous value. That's why 2 other terms are considered here, that is called the average value and the RMS value. The average value means we have to calculate the mean of the waveform. But here you can see that if we want to calculate the average of this symmetrical waveform, it is considered as a symmetrical waveform because its positive and negative half cycles are exactly identical. Therefore, if we want to calculate the average over a complete cycle, then the net average value will be equal to 0. For example, if we want to calculate the average of 5 and minus 5, then we will get 5 plus minus 5 upon 2, and it will be equal to 0. Similarly, for a symmetrical waveform, the average value, if we want to calculate over a complete cycle, it will be always equal to 0. Therefore, to find the average value of an alternating quantity, symmetrical alternating quantity, we consider only the positive half cycle, in this case from 0 to pi, and we will calculate the average for this duration. And what we will get, that will be considered the average value for the entire alternating parameter. But for unsymmetrical waveform, there is another type of waveform. For example, half wave rectifier circuit. A sinusoidal waveform can be rectified to a half wave. So in this case, again the one complete cycle is from 0 to 2 pi. But in this case, we can see that from 0 to pi, the pattern of the waveform is not identical for the pattern of the waveform from pi to 2 pi, because in pi to 2 pi the value is 0. This type of waveform is considered as an unsymmetrical waveform. The full cycle is from 0 to 2 pi, but we will get the value only between 0 to pi. Therefore, we will calculate the parameter, we will calculate the value from 0 to pi, and we will calculate the mean by considering the full cycle, that means 0 to 2 pi. And similarly for the RMS value also. So let's discuss about the average value and the RMS value in details. Let's see the definition of the average value of an alternating quantity. It is defined as the average or average or mean value of an alternating current is equal to the value of the direct current which transfers across any circuit the same amount of charge as is transferred by that alternating current during a given time. I repeat, the average or mean value of an alternating current or voltage is equal to the value of the direct current or voltage which transfer across any circuit element the same amount of charge as is transferred by that alternating current or voltage during a given time. Now let's elaborate this concept. Here I consider a circuit. R is the resistance, load resistance, and V is the DC voltage source that is applied across the load resistance, and then the current will start to flow through the load resistance. The current flow means the charges are passed in A and B terminal. Now consider this circuit for t seconds. That means we apply the voltage for t seconds across the load resistance R. And let's say the amount of charge that cross the terminal A and B is equal to Q coulomb. Now, if we apply an AC voltage source across the same resistance R, where small v is the instantaneous voltage of the alternating source and I is the instantaneous value of the current that will flow through the load resistance, where the V and I can be represented in terms of V max sin omega t and I max sin omega t. Now we consider the circuit for t seconds. That means the same time that we have considered for the DC voltage source. Again, for the AC source, we apply the source for the t seconds. And if in t seconds, the amount of charge that will cross the A and B terminal is equal to q coulomb, that is same as that of in the DC circuit, then the value of the DC voltage source will be considered as the average value of this alternating voltage source, and the value of the DC current will be considered as the average value of this alternating current that is flowing in the AC circuit. So this is the concept of the average value. Now, how to calculate this average value for an AC parameter? If we consider the purely sinusoidal waveform, let's say I is the current, omega t, with respect to omega t, the current changes 0, pi, 2 pi, it is pi by 2, and so on. It is I max, 3 pi by 2, and it is minus I max. Now, in this case, if we want to calculate the average value that we have already discussed, for a symmetrical waveform, the consecutive two half cycles are exactly identical. That is, the positive half cycle and the negative half cycle are equal. Therefore, if we want to calculate the average value for a complete cycle, that means for 2 pi radian angular displacement, the net value will be equal to 0. Because it is positive value, it is negative value. So if we want to calculate the average, the value will be equal to 0. So how to calculate the average value for an symmetrical waveform? In that case, we consider only the positive half cycle. So again I draw the waveform, the symmetrical waveform of the current. It is 0, pi and 2 pi. The concept is here, we divide the positive half cycle into n number of segments. That means we divide it in various instantaneous values. It can be named as I1, I2, I3, I4 up to In. We will consider only the positive half cycle. Now, if we add all these currents, that is, if we add I1, I2, I3 up to In, that means we'll get the total current between 0 to pi. And if we divide it by n, that is the number of segments, it will be considered as the average current for this alternating parameter. So we add all the currents I1, I2, I3 up to In, divide it by the number of segments, that is n, it will be considered as the average value. Now, for this case, what is I1 plus I2 plus I3 up to In? It is nothing but the area of the positive half cycle. If we add all the currents I1 plus I2 plus I3 plus up to In, it will give us the area of the positive half cycle between 0 to pi. And n is the number of segments. So it is nothing but the length of the base over the positive half cycle. So it is the length of the base of half cycle. So this is the concept to find the average value of a symmetrical waveform. Now as we see that here the figure is not a symmetrical figure. Therefore, if we want to calculate the area between 0 and pi, then we can integrate it 0 to pi. The current I will be integrated with respect to d omega t. And the length of the base here is pi. So it will be divided by pi. And this will be our average current. In general, we can write for any function whose cycle is repeated continuously, irrespective of the shape of the waveform, in terms of a periodic function as a sinusoidal function, the average value can be calculated as f average. F is the function. It will be equal to 1 upon t integral 0 to t of ft with respect to dt. So whatever may be the shape of the waveform, whatever may be the type of the waveform, we can apply this formula to calculate the average value. Now for symmetrical waveform, we can write it as 2 by t, because here we will consider only the half cycle. It will be t by 2 ft of dt. So in this method, we can calculate the average value for any waveform. As I have discussed here, for a symmetrical waveform, we will consider the positive half cycle, that means from 0 to pi. So first of all, you have to calculate the area of the positive half cycle, and then you have to divide it by its base. So in this case, we have already seen that the average value can be written as integration 0 to pi I d omega t, and it will be then divided by the length of the base, that is pi. It can be further written as integral 0 to pi. Instead of I, we can write I max sine omega t of d omega t. So if we solve this, we'll get the average value for this symmetrical sinusoidal waveform. Remember one thing here, the current is a purely sinusoidal, so definitely the value of I will be equal to I max sine omega t. That we already seen in previous classes. Now the RMS or effective value of an alternating quantity. So here the definition is the RMS or effective value of an alternating current or voltage is given by that DC current or voltage which, when flow or applied to a given resistance for a given time, produce the same amount of heat as when the alternating current or voltage is flowing or applied to the same resistance for the same time. Means the RMS or effective value of an alternating current or voltage is the DC equivalent which produce same amount of energy in the same circuit element within same time duration. So let's discuss in details. Consider a DC circuit, a DC voltage source V applied to a resistance R. So a current will flow through the circuit, that will be I. If we consider the circuit, if we apply the voltage for t seconds, so the net amount of energy produced will be I square R into T. That will be the amount of energy produced, which will be finally converted to the heat energy, will be I square R into T. Now apply an alternating voltage across the same resistance R. So V is the instantaneous voltage, I is the instantaneous current, where V is V max sin omega t and I is I max sin omega t. We consider the circuit again for t seconds. We apply the voltage for t seconds. Therefore, if the amount of energy produced in the AC circuit is same as that of the energy produced in the DC circuit, then this V will be considered as the RMS value of this alternating voltage, and the current in the DC circuit will be considered as the RMS value of this alternating current. Let's elaborate it further. Consider the current which is flowing through the load resistance is I equal to I max sin omega t. So it is its waveform. We divide the positive half cycle in n number of segments, that is I1, I2 up to IN. And let's consider, to make the positive half cycle complete, it takes t seconds. Therefore, each current segment will be withstand for t by n seconds, because we divide the positive half cycle into n number of segments, I1, I2, I3, I4 up to IN, and we assume the total time taken to make this positive half cycle complete is t second. Therefore, each current will be exist for t by n second. Now, when the power supply is given, initially the current that will flow through this load resistance will be I1. So the I1 current will flow through the load resistance for t by n second. So the amount of energy produced will be I1 square R into t by n. Just after t by n seconds, now the magnitude of the current will be changes to I2. So now instead of I1, it will be I2. So the I2 current will flow through the load resistance for again t by n second. So the energy produced for I2 current will be I2 square R into t by n. Now after t by n second, the current will be changed to I3. So the energy will be I3 square R into t by n, and so on up to IN square R into t by n. So this is the total amount of energy produced because of this alternating voltage source, because of this alternating current which is flowing through the load resistance R for T seconds. Now if we consider, according to the definition, if we consider the DC energy, the energy that is produced in the DC circuit for the same time duration, it is I2 square R into T. And if we make these two value equal, then we can write I square is equal to I1 square plus I2 square plus I3 square up to In square upon N, because R and T will be cancelled from both sides. So now the value of I can be written as square root of I1 square plus I2 square plus I3 square up to In square upon N. So the RMS value of an alternating quantity can be represented in this way. Here, how we can calculate it? It is basically the square of the instantaneous currents. Then you have to calculate their mean, and then finally we'll square root the value. That's why it is called as the root mean square value. The full form of the RMS is root mean square. So the root mean square value can be calculated in this way. So the RMS or root mean square value or the effective value of an alternating quantity can be calculated by this concept that we have already discussed. Now in general, if we want to consider a function, then the RMS value of the function can be written as integration 0 to t of f square t with respect to dt. Then it is divided by the base length, and the whole thing will be within the square root. So this is the general format, general formula to calculate the RMS value of any alternating quantity. In general, for a symmetrical waveform, we can write the RMS value can be written as integration 0 to t by 2 f square t with respect to dt, and then it is divided by t by 2 or 2 by t and the square root of the entire thing. So this is the concept to find the RMS value of an alternating quantity. In general, if we consider a symmetrical sinusoidal waveform, then the RMS value can also be considered in this way. It will be the area of half cycle. It is the area of the half cycle, then its square upon the length of the base, and then make the square root of the whole value. This is the general concept to find out the RMS value. See, now there are two more important definitions, that is the form factor and the peak factor. So first, the form factor. It is defined as the ratio of the RMS value to the average value of an alternating quantity. That means the form factor is defined as the ratio of the RMS value to the average value of an alternating voltage or an alternating current. It is denoted by the value of Kf. And if we want to calculate the form factor for the alternating voltage, then the form factor will be Vrms upon V average, and for the alternating current it can be written as Irms upon I average. The next is the peak factor. So peak factor is also called as the crest factor. It is defined as the ratio of the maximum value to the RMS value of an alternating quantity. So the peak factor can be written as, it is denoted by Kp. It is the maximum value upon the RMS value. So for a voltage, alternating voltage or alternating current, the peak factor can be calculated as Vmax upon Vrms or Imax upon Irms. This form factor and peak factor are basically used to design the alternating voltage source. For example, we have seen the inverter in our household applications. It basically converts the DC voltage from the battery to the AC voltage when the light goes off. Now when it converts the DC value to the AC parameter, because our household appliances always run in AC, so the form factor and peak factor basically denotes how the DC voltage is converted to the AC voltage, how smooth it is the sinusoidal waveform, because the DC voltage is constant with respect to time, and the inverter change it to the AC voltage. So these two factors, that is the form factor and peak factor, these two are basically the checking parameter that how smooth these conversions take place. That means the output of the voltage is a purely sinusoidal waveform or not. Because for a purely sinusoidal waveform, the form factor and peak factor values are constant. So if we compare the test value with the standard value, then we can easily identify how smooth the AC voltage is converted from the DC voltage, and so on. Thank you.